great to talk to Annie. Donnie was there on the plane with me when I read her book, and I was like, I totally shifted just now. But I want to
That's the one thing you didn't say in your amazing speech, whether her speech was really where's all those statistics when we're home? What is this? But read books.
Read books.
Oh my God, you read so many books, and every few weeks there's another book, and it's like, and it's never one
thing.
It's always something from each one. Every new book can be overwhelming, but every little piece of information you can then add to the salad of life and progress.
Love it, little nuggets. I was bringing up post-traumatic stress, which is I think a subject that we don't talk about enough in our community. We've all been through trauma, whether that's past trauma when you were younger. I know we all have somewhat of core trauma in our youth, but as a parent, we really feel it in this community. I didn't really recognize the states that I was in until you helped me with them or pointed them out. Or the thing is, when Evan gets sick, I go red. I can't even remember. You have to tell me the next day what I look like. Can you describe it for people?
Well, there was also what I started to notice is that when Evan wasn't getting sick, and we have to call him E, by the way. And I may reference my son as well, whose name begins with E, and so we'll differentiate the E's as we get there. But it actually got to a point where Evan wasn't necessarily going through anything, but she was preparing for it. It's funny, I listened to you speaking about when he was having panic attacks, and the fascinating thing was how you were having panic attacks too, and sometimes when he wasn't, it was like, he's gonna have another one, oh my God, he's gonna have another one, and it was really intense. But this is, you guys are all parents. Most of you here today are parents of children with autism, the moms and dads. So I'm maybe preaching to the choir a lot, but our relationship is really, we're 5 years together, we're 4 years married, we're really working through a lot of stuff. I know when I entered the relationship, Jenny had a lot of fears and concerns. And she's like, oh my God, are you annoyed? Are you annoyed by Evan? I said, no, not annoyed. No, not. Is he annoying? Is he annoying? I said, no, he can't be annoying. Evan cannot be annoying. I can only be annoyed. It's nothing he can do that's annoying. He is who he is. But I can be annoyed, or I cannot be annoyed. And getting a little off track of the topic, but coming back to it, I went through a lot of therapy in my life. I grew up in a very dysfunctional, alcoholic household with divorced parents. And I remember going to a therapist, and I would talk about, whenever I do an interview or speak like this in public or a movie audition or whatever, I get severe anxiety. And I talked about it like with this badge of honor, like I get intense diarrhea. True story. I remember when I auditioned for Band of Brothers, I was in the stall. I was getting ready to go into audition for Steven Spielberg and Tom Hanks. I walked in, I said, where do I sign in? They said, right here. I said, okay, where's the bathroom? They said, down the hall. And I was in there, and it was like a nuclear war had just happened. And I come out of the stall, and I look next to me, and there's Tom Hanks. Mr. Wahlberg. But I told this therapist, I said, every time I'm going to do an interview, I have all of this fear and going on stage or whatever, I have all this anxiety, but then I overcome it and I do a good job and I have a great time and, it's awesome. I feel so proud of myself. And he said, imagine how great you would be if you didn't have to overcome that in the first place. And not fully relevant, but that always stayed with me, and I've learned to deal with that and change that. And that was one of the things with Jenny, in our relationship, it's been a process of, everything's glowing, nothing's wrong, all is well, to suddenly, okay, I'm noticing that something happens with her. And then it became a process of how do we talk about that? How do we talk about what she's experiencing as a parent who's gone through all the stuff that she's gone through? At first, I couldn't touch the subject because any way it came out was going to be, don't talk about myself, don't go there. It's like, okay, I wasn't going there. And so then it became adapting to how to communicate. And eventually we got around to her explaining that she just goes to DEFCON 5. Whenever anything goes wrong, she goes to DEFCON 5. And didn't know if it would be the best analogy, but I used the Tom Hanks audition diarrhea analogy and said, if we can get you off of DEFCON 5, and that doesn't mean not have you focused, not have you concerned, but when you're in DEFCON 5 and Evan's sleeping peacefully in the next room with no fever and everything's okay, it's probably okay to not be on DEFCON 5. And so slowly we've worked together and learned as a couple to communicate and identify when things are happening, because her post-traumatic stress would trigger my post-traumatic stress of my life. Of my mom whipping through the house in a frenzy because of the chaotic alcoholic craziness going on in my house, and drug addiction and insanity.
We both were triggered. We couldn't help each other.
Right.
And that's one of the things I talk about when we pass the baton, holding the light, and reminding each other. This is one of the good things that you would do. I'd be like, oh my God, he's sneezed, oh my God. And he'd say, stop, look around. You're not in the back of an ambulance. What are you sitting on? I'd be like, good. Like, who's next to you? I literally have to go 50 steps. You are. Do you hear anything in the house right now? Just birds outside. Okay, feel that. And I'd come back to presence. And it was Donnie that kind of needed that partner to say, okay, thank you for reminding me where I'm at. And it takes practice. And then, something would happen even not too long ago. Oh, Evan was sick. And I said, I'm really trying hard as me in DEFCON 5. And he'd say, you're on DEFCON 5, I tell you. Where are you right now? I'm sitting on the kitchen chair. It just went through the same steps. Look around you. And I feel my blood pressure drop and come back to presence and have calmness. And the other thing he taught me was, when I'm at DEFCON 5 and Evan isn't, you showed me how I bring him to DEFCON 5.
Well, it's sort of like, I'm the dad of 2 boys, and now stepdad to Evan, and one of my sons has ADD, ADHD, and my other son is very typical, but I remember when my older son was a baby, I would get on the plane and I'd have that feeling that every parent gets, oh my God, I hope he doesn't cry and piss off everyone on the plane. And when you get on the plane with that mode, the baby's gonna cry on the plane. It's gonna happen. It's going back to what Jenny said, is Evan annoying? He can't be. He just can be him. And I can be annoyed or not. And I choose not to be annoyed. It's just like those, I don't want to call them asshole parents, but, or people, when our child is not behaving the way they think they should and they get annoyed, it's not the child that's annoying. They're annoyed. It's their problem. Oftentimes we want to say, fuck you. And I'm not telling you what you should say, but I've learned to say I forgive you. And Evan's a big part of that. As Evan is able to communicate more, he literally will express that, why would you be mad at that person? You know, and he's able to now verbalize what we always assume as parents, that our kids can